Hello and welcome back to another video. Today is episode 10 of Forming the Roman Empire. Quickly, if you do like this video, please like, subscribe and turn your post notifications on when you do subscribe so you never miss another video. And also, happy Halloween to everyone who does Halloween, as it is today. This video, as you can see by the time in the corner, is very in advance recorded. It was recorded just about midday today. I am now audio recording this almost 3 hours later. So yeah, making sure to get a video out today. And then tomorrow's video may be pre-recorded, may not be pre-recorded, I don't know yet, it depends how I feel about it. But in the background here, you'll see me sort of sorting out the navy bit, which is quite good, just assigning an admiral here. And also I was sort of thinking after yesterday, because obviously yesterday's video sort of ended with me just going on about battleships and just sharing some information that I know about them, which obviously I'm not going to claim that I'm always correct about the information. You know, if someone's got comments and says, you know, this was actually not entirely correct because of this reason or something, you know, fair played. You know, I'm not going to claim to know everything. If you know something that I've got wrong, just put it in the comments and I'll give you a nice mention in the next video. But you can see in the background we are creating another naval group here. What I'm doing is basically copying the basis off of the other task forces. So it'll be squadra or something like that. Basically, squadron of the place that it's going to be in, which this one is Palermo, or Palermo. So we'll send it down to there to basically manage that. But as I was saying before I interrupted myself, how I did yesterday was like a bunch of like explaining like battleships and these other things to do with them. I think in future I might just do like gameplay, like just background gameplay as I just explain a certain topic or something to do with history. And maybe it's like a half an hour, 45-minute video of just background Hearts of Iron 4 content going on, and me just doing gameplay, and me just talking about, you know, battleships or airplanes or cruisers, destroyers, you know, certain battles or whatever. If you'd like to see that, drop it in the comments down below, and let me know if you'd like to see it. And I might do it at some point, because it could be quite interesting. So do let me know in the comments down below whether you'd like to see that. Anyway, as to what is going on with this game, there is going to be something interesting towards the end of the video. I will make it clear now that the thing did not go too well, because normally you'd get like a jump start on the thing. I failed to do so. I let the other party involved get the jump start, which was not the right move, but I also forgot a very key element to do with it. Obviously I'll explain more in a few minutes when it actually occurs, but yeah, not much you can do about that one besides probably withdraw, put a fallback line on, pull the forces out of their current battle positions, and then strike, cut off lines and just keep basically incurring casualties for the enemy. But I'll explain more in a bit. Also, what I will say is, off camera I have assigned some atomic special projects, because I forgot to mention at the end of the video that research does complete, and I completely blanked it. So just thought to mention this at the start of the video, that next video that will 100% be a thing, and we will take care of that. Also, you can see here we are in a severe lack of resources, especially when we get the battleships into severe production soon. We become in a humongous lack of a lot of resources that are quite necessary for the battleship specifically. So we need to either build a unimaginable amount of civilian factories, or we need to do something, because as you can see here, this battleship, I obviously don't want to wait until such years of 1946 in order to get a battleship. Obviously I'd love one in 1941 latest. I'd love one this year, to be fair. I mean, one every month would be brilliant if that could be the case. But obviously, the mod of giving you as many naval factories to whatever you want as possible is great up until the resource amount comes in. And then you realise just quite simply, you don't have the resources to manage it. And you've got to try and get them at some level. So, yeah. Sorry to pause there. I'm just hearing some very creepy Halloween music in the background. I get it's Halloween, but that's a bit creepy. Especially considering it's not even 3 p.m. yet. And I ain't ever heard that before. And I don't particularly know where it's coming from. So that's fun. Not that you guys will be able to hear it, but you just got to believe me on that one. It's concerning. Especially when you're trying to record audio for a YouTube video that requires no background interruption. However, you are getting a lot of background interruption. I love this. I'm not being sarcastic about the YouTube part. I'm being sarcastic about the background interference part. Anyway, let's get on with deploying some units, because oh boy, are we going to need some. Like, I don't think I truly realised just how much I was going to need triple or quadruple our current amount of troops, because there's no way that in the next video we can continue with the same amount of troops and do anything to what we want to do. Like, we need to effectively 10x our troops in a sense, not actually have 10 times the amount of troops, but their fighting capability needs to be 10 to 100 times better, because it is just horrible. I mean, yes, they advance at a extremely slow rate of 1 tile every million casualties or something, but you'll see what I mean by that later on in the video when we actually go to something or other with a little someone that we wanted to go to war with. Well, there you go. Let's just spoil it, shall we? We go to war with someone, and we don't do very well. So that's fun. Obviously, put guesses in the comments who you think we're going to go to war with beforehand, because something or other that makes sense, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, we've got Stronghold Network, special research project thing here, done. Nice. Let's just do this breakthrough thing so that we can continue to move forward. Okay, so turns out it wasn't spooky Halloween music a few minutes ago. It was a phone call occurring. Anyway, very important phone call. Probably relating me, but anyway, I'll let that one be handled and then don't have to do with it. Anyway, we got the national focus of Italian irredentism here, and we can put a new cruiser into research. There are 2 research slots here, I do believe, so we'll do a cruiser for one of them, a 1940 cruiser, and then we'll do a 1940s heavy ship as well, which obviously, when you've got a battleship, you really question whether you need a heavy ship, because the battleship's a lot better, but heavy ship in a way is more like the Italian pocket battleship, which I was talking about last episode. which honestly was just peak Italian engineering. And I'm not going to knock it because it was a pretty good idea and it worked pretty well as far as I have researched so far, which is not much. But yeah, obviously you can see just scrolling past a focus here. I think we'll bring back the old glory or glories, which is a bunch of old naval. It's like a naval focus that gives you ships and whatever. I do want to do it at some point. Obviously, I'm not doing it in a minute. And obviously, you can see I can form Rome technically if I was to go down the focus, but I'm waiting for the Pope to come into power so that I don't effectively curse everything out. You'll see here me put in the focus, which is war with France or something along those lines. It's war with France, effectively. Ooh, this is going to go well. My screen has just decided it wants to go blank for a minute. So let's just move up a few seconds. But yeah, put that nice focus on and just manage some other things here, like, just making sure everything goes well, because we need everything to go well here and everything to stay managed. But yeah, it'd be nice once we get our first battleship out, because that'll be a momentous occasion where we don't have to worry about, like, oh, will we not? And it'll just be, we have, and we will continue to fight with it and use it for the betterment of the country and the betterment of the war we are currently in, or will be in anyway, because obviously it has not started yet, but it's pretty obvious now who we're going to war with, and that is France. Obviously you'll be aware of a few things once it actually occurs in a minute, and that is that Britain also joins, and I fail to have the foresight to protect our lovely Sardinian territory, so we abandon that. Then the territory we got off Spain we abandon, and then the entirety of Africa we also abandon, focusing simply on the main Italian homeland, which, to be fair, it's questionable how fair we actually focus on that. But once we do take out France, which could be about 5 to 6 episodes or more of time to do, we will then start to focus on taking back territory which we have lost to the British or the French, and then taking over Africa and really starting to cement the fact that we are trying to form Rome and we are going to be the Roman Empire, which obviously is nice. Also, with the officer call I'm assigning now, with the army command, I did accidentally assign one I wasn't too happy about, and it wasn't letting me change it, so that's fun. So yeah, not ideal, that one, but I'll try and change it at some point. But obviously we have bigger fish to fry at the minute. One of them being France itself, and Britain, and half of Europe and half of Africa and Middle East. There's a lot of countries that we do not like and do not want to continue because they are in occupation of land that is claimed by the Roman Empire, which obviously we're trying to form. So not ideal for them to stay around. But we will hopefully be able to take them over at some point. Obviously, we have got multiple puppet nations, like Yugoslavia, then the other one who I've forgotten the name of legitimately, and Albania, and then Italian East Africa. So yeah, we got some puppets that will provide us with troops and manpower and all that lovely stuff, that will allow us to continue our fight per se towards our main goal, which is obviously to form Rome, which obviously is exactly what we want to do. You'll see me check on the war with France focus here, which I'd love to complete at some point because it does take quite a while. Also, Another thing I noticed later in this video is we need to sort the air power out. Like, we honestly haven't really been researching anything to do with air power. That has got to change. I'm probably going to have to edit that off camera because our air power is so weak that you'll see later in the video I assigned some over France. It did absolutely nothing to affect the situation. So I need to sort it out to the general way I do the air power, and I need to fix it because it is just awful. So I will be fixing that off camera, and hopefully it can help us with the advance towards Paris and other nations, or just Paris effectively, until France capitulates, and then we have to share it with the Germans because, well, that's how war works, I guess. Also, at some point, we would like to take, well, Switzerland, Greece, Turkey, Spain, Portugal, and a lot of other nations at the same time, just simply to actually form what Rome once held. Obviously, that's a key goal for us, because, well, quite simply, that is what we want to do, and that is what we shall do. And obviously there are some things like air power that needs to be brought to the modern era just to try and do that. Also, potentially giving spoilers on the next game. If it is that this Roman Empire playthrough finishes in the next 4 or 5 episodes, which it's not going to, then we would go on to Germany next. However, because I'm fearing it's going to take a lot longer, and it probably is, the next game that we play that isn't on Italy will quite possibly be someone like Japan, or one of the Chinese nations, or the Philippines, or someone like that. Once the new DLC, I think it is, releases November 20th. So keep an eye out for that. It'll be the same sort of episode system, I think, maybe. I might change it to be a different sort of system, but yeah, I think that'll be the next one. Otherwise, it'll be like a short-term Germany game, potentially, because obviously Germany has just got nice tanks, to be fair, and would be quite fun to play as. Obviously, I will not be able to mention the leader by name on video, because I'm pretty sure YouTube does not like that, because I've seen someone do it before and then their video got taken down, so I'm not going to go there. They may have changed their policy since then, but I just don't want to risk it, because I like my channels and I don't want them to get taken down and have to go through that, so I'm just going to be careful and just avoid mentioning it by name. Here you'll see me set up the front lines to go to war with France. However, I failed to realise the troops that I fought were on the front line with France were actually on the border with Germany, and the troops I fought were on the border with Germany are actually on the border of France. Because, that's how I just set it, and I failed to realise immediately that that is exactly what I just did, and continued to be forgetful and just go to war and send it anyway, as you'll see here. And, well, that worked about as well as people would expect it to, which is it didn't work at all. And you'll see here pretty soon that the front line just doesn't go that well. It just doesn't go that well, because France gets the jump, they start pushing into my territory, and I effectively have to just pick up the pieces and start to push up and hope that they don't take too much stuff, which, well, works about as well as I possibly would expect it to, which it doesn't at all, which is going to be a reoccurring thing, is that things just don't work out that well, and we have to try again. which is not great, but at the end of the day, what are you supposed to do? Well, have troops already on the border before you declare war? Quite possibly. I believe we're going to do war with Greece here, which will not complete in this episode, I do not believe. But obviously in the next episode, the war with Greece focus will complete, and we will not go to war with Greece immediately, because we are in no position to do that. Anyway, the Soviet Union is going to send us 11 divisions that one can only hope will be able to just be sent straight up to the front line and just break through it, because they're Soviet units, I guess. We do take some French territory here, I think. I mean, you can see already some red bubbles starting to appear on the front line, which obviously isn't good, because it means we're not able to break through, and yeah, no, we don't take French territory. In fact, I'm not even sure we take our own territory back, to be fair. Because they've probably dug in now. I think what we're going to do in the next video is push back towards Geneva and set up a line from Geneva to Milan and up to Switzerland, and effectively draw the French into our front line, and then break it, then push back up to the French front line, close all the pockets that we established, and then pull back again to Milan and that sort of fullback line, then draw them back, push up, and just keep doing that over and over again until we create a massive amount of pockets and just effectively make them sort of fight our war. You'll see here atomic research has completed, and I just failed to realise it. But yeah, I think the best option for fighting this war is to pull back, draw them into our territory, have them fighting on our terms, and then push them on our terms, pull them back, push them, and just effectively move the front line back and forth, just to sort of break down their front, take some units and get them out of the battle, and honestly start to gain military supremacy. And then once we get that level of military supremacy, we can then start to really start an offensive, and then just work the same system, but instead of pushing back to Milan and Geneva, which is probably a Swiss territory, Geneva. I cannot pronounce that Italian city. I've kept saying Geneva, and I'm aware that's probably in Switzerland. Genova. Anyway, whatever that Italian province is, seems similar to Geneva, but isn't. Push back to there, and then instead of doing that, when we get some more French territory, it'll be just quite simply using the French territory to do the same method and just push back to our border, and then pushing up and then slowly moving the fullback line up and up until we eventually get to Paris and they capitulate. Obviously here we're going to have to move a lot of the navy out of places like Africa and Sardinia, because it's simply unsafe to leave them there. So we'll move them as far out as we can get them, just to keep them safe. Obviously we have lost 8 submarines, as you'll see in a second, which obviously isn't ideal. I show it now that we have lost 8 submarines, which is effectively an entire submarine task force, which is unfortunate, but what can you do at the end of the day? Not lose 8 submarines, probably a good idea, but we will try and keep the rest alive and well, so that they don't get any sort of harm to them. However, I will try to move out a task force here in a second, and well, it will quite simply go as well as expected, which isn't as well at all, which is fun, because I'd like to move this task force out here of just near where it's in our Italian East Africa territory, but unfortunately we can't move it out due to the fact it's 2 canal zones and we own neither. So that's fun. We're effectively boxed in at that point, which, you know, it's great for the fact that we are just absolutely boxed in and can't move our ship out, which is kind of unfair, but, you know, whatever. We will move them out eventually. But at some point, we'll get them out and get them to safety, or lose them all, because that is also a possibility, which wouldn't be great, but, you know, I don't know if we've got an option. But lose them all to get them out. Now, obviously, I am not happy about how our French offensive is going, because it's not going well, and it's not going to the plan. So we have to sort that by next video, otherwise it will go very badly, and we will lose many men. And we cannot do that. We must fight, and we must win. So we assigned some airplanes here, and they do absolutely nothing. They're just paper tigers. Like, honestly, they're just made of paper and cardboard, as far as it looks like. I'm surprised that they actually even fly, because they literally did nothing to the battlefield. But we'll sort that out next episode. I mean, I probably should have put them on close air support, but anyway. Yes, we will fix that next episode. Anyway, just want to say thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you did all enjoy this video, and I hope to see you on the next video. So please, if you did like this video, please like, subscribe, and turn your post notifications on when you do subscribe, and comment what you'd like to see next on the channel. And I shall see you all tomorrow for the next weekly video on my gaming channel, which is this channel. And yeah, I shall see you all tomorrow for the next video. Bye for now.